Good Tuesday evening, Southwest Arkansas. Welcome back, Southwest Arkansas weather here on Tuesday, August the 19th, 2025. Taking a look at your 6-day forecast, your evening weather blog. We got a lot to talk about. Big pattern change potentially coming, and some cooler, cold front of some sorts maybe coming in by the end of Wednesday into Thursday. We'll talk about that. But first, starting off with what we're currently seeing, we do see temperatures right now, just now getting below 100 degrees down there in Texarkana, 99 degrees still, 79, 83, 85, 79 in Arkadelphia, 89 in DeQueen, areas that have seen rain. Camden's at 84. Magnolia's at 91 and 95, and if you look at radar, we have seen some thunderstorms. They are starting to decrease because we have lost that daylight across the area. You do see a little outflow boundary here, this little line here. That's an outflow boundary. Storms could form off that kind of just, like I said, an outflow boundary off of storms, but for the most part, going to start to see things come to an end for the night, but more chances of rain will be in store potentially as we go into tomorrow. Let's talk about that. So, big thing to talk about here in this forecast is that we're continuing to see changes pretty much that they're right around the corner. If you take a look at what we have in store, right off the bat, you look at it and you think, well, there's not very many changes quite there that we're seeing. But we have a little bit of a cold front or a cool front coming through Wednesday through Thursday. The ridge of high pressure is going to move back west, and we'll talk about this here a little more, or back off a little more west and allow for more northwesterly flow. That'll lead to some drier, cooler air coming in Wednesday. Scattered thunderstorms, partly cloudy skies, around that 50 to 40% chance, but highs are still going to be up there around the 100-degree mark, and overnight lows in the 70s. Now, Thursday, we could have some early morning thunderstorms or showers, but for the most part, mostly sunny skies, and that cool front comes through, dropping highs down into the mid-90s, with overnight lows down into the upper 60s overnight, and then we start to dry out through the next couple of days after that for a bit, with Friday, Saturday, and Sunday seeing sunny to mostly sunny skies, highs in the lower to mid-90s across the region, overnight lows in the 60s, increasing into the lower 70s. Cloudy on Monday with highs around 95, overnight lows right around the lower 70s to upper 60s. And one thing to mention here is there's the big talk in the room. Let's go ahead and talk about it. The 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Look at that. Below average potential temperatures could be possible as we go into the end of August. Looking at it, it looks like we could have a system that moves across the northern part of the country and brings us some cooler air. Maybe our first real fall-like weather, where you may be talking about highs maybe in the 80s to overnight lows maybe in the mid 60s, lower 60s. Maybe just still right there around that. Just still right there really around your kind of fall-like weather or early fall-like weather there. But remember, the colors just mean the better chances or probabilities for below average temperatures. Not necessarily that's how cold it's going to get. Just shows that there's some decent chances there. With that occurring, our average in Little Rock for this time of year is around 91 to 92 degrees. So below average temperatures is everything or anything below that. And on top of that, we could maybe see an increase in some rainfall or rain chances as well as we go throughout that throughout that time frame as well. That'll allow just for more potential systems to develop and stuff of that nature. So now, real quickly, let's talk about before we talk fully about this pattern. Let's show you what Futurecast is looking like, and show you quickly what data is pointing on for the rest of tonight and as we go into tomorrow. Remember, this isn't perfect, and it's summertime, so you have those afternoon hit or miss storms. They pop up, they develop over an area. Today we've seen it. They produce some gusty winds, but they don't move much at all and stay stationary in some cases. But with that cold front or cool front coming in, you may see some more showers possibly as we go throughout the day tomorrow. Taking a look at this starts off at 8 p.m. tonight. Really starts to dry out some tonight. Maybe a few chances of some showers overnight. And as we go through tomorrow, you're going to notice an increase once again in those afternoon thunderstorms, a little more widespread in coverage across the area. And as we go into that nighttime frame, you're just going to continue to see those chances for some rainfall and gusty really Just a chance for heavy rainfall with those heavier storms, some gusty winds potentially, a lot of frequent lightning with that as well. And that's going to be the name of the game really as we go forward throughout the day tomorrow. So once again, in the afternoon, make sure you have ways to receive warnings just in case you get a severe thunderstorm warning, or keep an eye on radar. I know all of our hay cutter or our hay farmers out there and stuff of that nature, people who's trying to cut hay right now, it's just that time of year. I mean, you can't pinpoint exactly who's going to see what and who's not this time of year with those pop-up thunderstorms and showers. They do whatever they want to do, and you can try to forecast the best you can with it, but at the end of the day, they just go where they want to go. And let's talk now a little more about the data behind. Give me one moment here. The data behind the upcoming patterns. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing this orange color here. This is just a good indicator of hot anomalies, which is a good indicator just how hot, the orange color is higher up in the atmosphere, ridges of high pressure higher up in the atmosphere, and your blues down here are your lower pressures, and that's that hurricane down there in the Gulf of Air, not in the Gulf, but in the Atlantic down there. And that's going to continue to maybe clip some of the northern island or the North Carolina barrier islands out there. You may see there may be some potential there, but really this ridge of high pressure here, you can see this with these bars, that kind of this line of pressure, different pressures there that kind of goes up there. That's your ridge of high pressure. That's what we've been seeing. That's why we've been so hot as we've dried out some before we get more rain on top of that. But you've seen that ridge of high pressure slowly over the past few days push a little more to the west. And as that occurs, you're seeing that here as we go forward here into the future. That just continues to be the case, and you start to see maybe some lower heights, and that's a good indicator that there's going to be a change, a brief change, or a little bit of a change this week. Next week's the bigger change, and you can kind of see this starting to form up here in Canada, according to the GFS model. And as we go forward, you're going to notice that ridge of high pressure settles back to the west, and we kind of see some lower pressure values. It's still going to be hot, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be as hot, and a little on the drier side with some drier air. But then this system up here to the north starts to come in over the northern portions of the country, and you can kind of see this trough develop here. That's a dip in the jet stream in your lower pressures, and you'll see that kind of helps us just push that ridge back to the west, and could lead to some, as we go throughout next week, some cooler conditions and stuff of that nature. And like I said, we're talking about potentially highs in the 80s, and let's dive into that real quickly. Remember, your 500 millibar level heights is about middle upper atmosphere, so that's just a good indicator of your high pressure systems, your low pressure systems, your ridges, your troughs, all of that fun stuff. Some of our bigger scale things that can help us with help us forecast what we could potentially see with that with the weather there in some of those areas. Now, remember, this is just one model, so don't take these temperatures as exactly that's what's going to occur, but use this as a way just to get a good indicator of what we're pointing at. So, like I said, this week really not going to see a whole lot of a difference, and then as we go, though, into next Monday, or into next week, you can kind of see there's some cooler air moving in there, and you're talking potentially lows in the 60s and lower 70s there before highs. They may struggle to get up out of that 80-degree range. Like I said, I want to heed caution. Don't necessarily take those exact numbers, just the general idea. Maybe some highs in the 80s, overnight lows in the 60s. It's going to be a stretch to reach the 50s for overnight lows, but we're going to watch it closely. But as you can see, just continues that cooler trend there throughout this time, or throughout that time frame, and I think that's going to also help keep rain chances a little more on the wetter side of things as we go into this upcoming week. You can or into next week as well. You kind of see just those rain chances may stick around. Like I said, don't take this as exactly it's going to rain this day, that day when looking at this data. Just the general overall idea and general view of that situation. And really, as we look into what's in store for the upcoming time frame, we're going to notice dew points as that front tries to come through. It just brings it's not a lot. It's not a big change, but it's going to make just for some small changes in just some drier, a little bit of a drier conditions with dew points down in the lower 60s instead of up in the 70s, potentially making for that hot and humid mess that we've been seeing. Temperatures may be just a little cooler as we go forward throughout the rest of this week, and then really we could get our first little taste of fall. How long will that stick around? We'll have to wait and really see as we go forward, but we'll continue to keep you updated with the newest on that. As always, that's going to bring us to the end of today's Outlook. Just want to say big thanks, as always, to all of our sponsors for helping us get this information to you guys. Big thanks, as always, Patterson's Credit Union, Southern Dumpster Rental, Landmark Insurance Agency, Palmer's Roofing, and J&S Auto Supply Bumper to Bumper. Make sure to check all them out over on Facebook, and if you're in need of any of their things that they offer, feel free to give them a call and see if they can help provide you with some great business. We're blessed to work with some of the best in Southwest Arkansas, and we look very forward to continuing to keep you weather aware here, right here at your source for all things Southwest Arkansas weather. Make sure to check us out over on Facebook, Instagram, here on YouTube. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you get notified anytime we post these videos. We also do that live nonstop severe weather coverage as well. Make sure to check us out on TikTok as well. But Facebook's where we post a lot of our radar updates, stuff of that nature, and just a bunch of different posts as well. So make sure to check us out there. Have a good rest of your Tuesday. See you back here Thursday for another look at what's in store for the evening weather log.